The following events took place around early December of 2015. It was late at night in Washington State. I wasn't home alone for these events, although at the time they occurred, I was the only one awake in my house. 1 a.m. So I'll start by saying that my family has 3 cats. They'll often stay out late, making it my responsibility to make sure that they're in, as I'm the last one to go to sleep. When our one cat, Nellie, wants to come in at night, she'll scratch her claws on the sliding screen door located behind our sliding glass door. The aforementioned door is located in the family room, the room with the TV, and the room I'm usually in late at night just hanging out alone, flipping channels and whatnot. Oddly enough, I was watching a video about deep web horror stories by my favorite YouTube narrator, this guy named Corpse Husband. I hear what I think is my cat scratching on the screen door, ready to come in. I get up, make the short 7-foot walk from the couch to the door to let her in. I open the door, expecting to see her bolt into the house as usual, but she's not there. "Nellie, come on in," I call childishly. When she doesn't appear to be there, I flip on the porch light and see nothing on the patio, no cat. I look up and just 50 feet away, I see a tall, lanky, very disturbed looking man standing near the fence line of my yard. I kind of squint and smirk and I look in confusion. It didn't take long before confusion turned into sheer terror. The man is not moving, not even acknowledging the fact that he has been discovered by me. Completely unresponsive to the encounter, almost as if he felt he was invited there openly. I instantly slam the door and run to my parents' room to wake up my parents and tell them what I just saw. It takes about a minute or two for them to become coherent and truly understand what I'm saying to them. My dad gets out of bed and scans the yard from inside. The man is gone. Tired and annoyed, my dad assures me it was my imagination and goes back to bed. I was a little angered I wasn't taken more seriously, as I know what I had seen. 1:15 a.m. 15 minutes after I first saw this man initially, curiosity got to me. I find myself looking out the door once more. Sure enough, I see the man yet again. I drop my glass of water right into the ground and I freeze in fear as my heart falls with my glass. This man is standing in my damn treehouse, up against the balcony, hands on the rail staring at me. There are a few things in particular that make this so uncomfortable. 1. This man had to be nearing 7 foot tall, yet he's incredibly bony and skinny, making his body look incredibly disproportionate. 2. I just can't see a face. I'm serious, this man's face from my point of view looked solid black. I was scared, yet so confused. I was truly puzzled. I go to my parents' room and wake them up yet again. This time, I'm taken more seriously. My mother calls 911. A sheriff's deputy shows up about 30 minutes later and looks around. He finds nothing and assures us that this man that I've seen has left, but I don't have the same feeling. After the deputy leaves, it's about 2 a.m. and by 2:15 my parents are back in their bed and I'm still on the couch in the family room. 2:25 a.m. I hear a loud bang coming from the window, which I'll put a picture of on screen right now. If you look in the picture, you'll see a stained glass picture hanging from the window. This bang was so loud and forceful that picture was swung back and forth. Again, I awake my parents and we huddle in the family room together in fear, not knowing what to do next. When all of the sudden, bang, the bang happens again, just inches from us standing there. Whoever this is must be one bold son of a bitch, we're all thinking. We turn on the porch light seconds after and the man is gone. Damn it! We call the police yet again and after an hour and a half, 3 sheriff's deputies are now here. They look around. "Well, there's nothing here," they say. "Well, no shit, this happened almost 2 hours ago," we're all thinking. After this, we all give up and decide to try and get some sleep. What we found in our yard the next morning was chilling and just so uncomfortable. Footprints. But these footprints weren't normal footprints. The attached images on screen right now are the actual photos taken that morning. They were about a foot long each. Very narrow and no tread. That's what was the weirdest part. You'd think that the imprint of the shoes would be left. Nope, flat. What was also strange was that the area where the prints are, there were a lot of leaves. Yet, Where his feet were, they appeared to be gone. Very eerie. Although I never saw the man after this, we did find another incredibly creepy piece of evidence: our house crawl space. A crawl space is a small hole located around the perimeter of your house that leads underneath your house, maybe around 5 feet wide, usually covered by a wooden sheet. Well, ours was clearly tampered with after that night, pretty severely. It was moved, uncovered, and tossed around. Keep in mind, this cover is heavy, and on top of it was our wheelbarrow. Not an easy setup to rearrange. Anyways, we haven't seen this man again or had signs of his presence. I still live in slight fear of finding him. What makes it so strange is that whoever this wasn't at all deterred by being discovered, nor scared off by the presence of law enforcement. We've nicknamed this intruder Thin Man. I hope I never see him again.
I was home alone. It was the middle of summer, and my parents had left for the weekend to go to our house in the Cape Cod. It was about a 2-hour drive away, so it's no big deal for them to leave me alone for a few days. My mom had made me some pulled pork and pasta for me to heat up whenever, and I had some money to order a pizza if I wanted to. Things were all good. The first night I was alone, I stayed up till 3 in the morning playing Xbox, so I woke up kinda late the next day. I checked my phone when I woke up and saw it was a little past 1. I had made plans to play some street hockey with my friends at 3, so I kinda threw myself out of bed and stumbled into the shower. I take really long showers, so when my parents are gone, I go a bit mental. I was in there for about 45 minutes on my phone, scrolling through Reddit and Twitter and whatever, when I heard the front door open. The bathroom's directly up the stairs from the back door, and the thing is pretty loud whenever it opens and closes. I immediately froze, since obviously I was supposed to be alone. I waited for about 2 minutes, ears strained in trying to hear anything else. Nothing. I figured it was just the wind, or maybe my parents were home early, so I turned off the shower and wrapped my towel around myself and slowly walked down the stairs to check it out. And the stairs to the kitchen, where the back door is, they're kind of tight and walled in a way where I can't exactly see into the kitchen while I'm going down them, but it's a long story. But regardless, though, my house is kind of old, and despite that, I tried so desperately to walk down my stairs, and yet each step made a very, very loud creak. I mean, I still took my time and tried to be as quiet as possible. I probably took like 45 seconds walking down all 12 of the stairs. So, when I get to the second to last stair, right before I can see around the corner into my kitchen, I took a little breath to compose myself. In my mind, I knew I was being stupid. There obviously wasn't anything in the kitchen. There's no way I wouldn't have heard another noise, and there's no reason for them to even still be in the kitchen even if there were burglars or something in my house. After sort of mentally chastising myself for being such a wuss, I chuckled at myself for being so stupid and just normally walked down the last 2 stairs and turned the corner into the kitchen. And yet, standing about 2 feet away from me in the middle of my kitchen is a man staring straight at me. Perfectly still, with a massive smile across his face. Just staring at me. The thing I remember most vividly wasn't his face or his smile, but his arms. They weren't just at his side. He held them in the strangest, most abnormal position I've ever seen. They were where one would normally hold their arms, but he rotated them to the point where they were almost completely reversed. Even had them lifted up and a little behind himself. I don't know why I remember this so much, but it was just so abnormal. I don't get it. Honest to God, I think I almost had a heart attack right there. I mean, looking back now, I can realize how fucking creepy the situation was, but in the moment, I just took a step toward him and punched him as hard as I could in the jaw, sort of half slapping and pushing him towards the ground. The second I connected, I beelined up the stairs, dropping my towel in the kitchen with my heart beating out of control. I fucking sprinted into my room and locked the door behind me, and I put my chair up against the doorknob like you see in TV. Almost without thinking, I immediately called 911, and nearly in tears, I told the operator what had happened. As I sat on the floor of my room, I was like in a fetal position, staring at the door, praying that a cop would be here soon. I noticed the light coming from the gap between my door had stopped. The fucker was standing outside my door. And there's no words to describe the feeling I had. I was paralyzed with fear. Just watching the shadow across the bottom of the door shift in tiny ways. I stayed balled up, staring at the gap, praying that man would go away for what seemed like an hour. All the while, the 911 operator was asking, "Hello, sir, are you there? Hello?" But I didn't want to make a noise. And even if I wanted to move my arms to bring the phone to my mouth, I don't think I could have. Eventually, the light returned to the gap, and I heard the faintest of footsteps, slowly creaking down the wooden floorboards as he walked down the hall. It was silent for minutes, and I just sat there curled up, unable to even speak. Soon after, I heard banging on the front door and the sound of 2 officers entering my house. I finally felt safe, and I opened the door to the 2 of them and stood there almost crying. Nowadays, my parents don't even leave me alone anymore. Thank God. And I check every lock in the house now before going to bed. I still get nightmares occasionally, and my heart starts racing whenever I see someone standing still, but I'm doing all right. Even working with sketch artists and a few lineups, the police never found who the fuck was in my house. That sends shivers down my spine, though. Whenever I look outside, I half expect to see him just standing there under a lamppost, just looking my way. I have no idea what he wanted, or who he was. But regardless, I can't be alone anymore.
This happened to me in 2006 when I was 16. I was at the peak of my high school year, played football with my best friends, and drove a 2002 Chevy Avalanche, although I only had a learner's permit. On November 14th, my cushy high school life was altered by a scary dose of reality. It was a normal Tuesday morning, and I woke up at 6:30 a.m. to finish some homework. My mom left at about 6:45 to take my little sister to school and said she would come back around 7:25 to take me. I went downstairs to turn the music up on my cheap-ass radio that was loud as fuck for some reason, and I got in the shower around 6:55. The music was still super loud, even from where I was in the shower upstairs. My hand was inches away from the nozzle that turned the water on when suddenly, the music stopped. Somewhat confused, I stepped out of the bathroom and peeked around the corner to look at the radio. I was about to go turn it back on when a hand with a black glove reached over and pulled the cord out of the socket. It was like somebody had hit me in the gut with a baseball bat. I stepped back, terrified at what I had just witnessed. Across the hall from the bathroom is a closet where we keep the towels and soap. I grabbed my phone and went into the closet as quietly as possible and locked myself in, my phone glued to my hands. I was in such shock that I couldn't even think straight. All I could hear were 3 men talking back and forth, plastic bags shuffling and glass and other items breaking. I was about to call the police when I thought about my mom. She would be home any minute now, and the thought of what they might do to her terrified me. I called her, and these were my exact words. Mom, okay, listen to me. 3 or 4 men just broke into the house and are robbing the place. I'm upstairs in the back closet and have the door locked. Park at the neighbor's house and call the police now. Now, being a parent myself, I can imagine the fear she must have felt during that. In a shaky, terrified voice, she just said okay and hung up the phone. She was only about 3 minutes away but promised to rush back as fast as she could. Now it was just me and the unwanted house guests. I decided to call the cops too and told them the situation. Police were on their way, but our house was further out than most. Deep down, I knew it would take them a bit longer. I heard them, the robbers. There now had to have been 4 or 5 of them. I'm not bragging by all means, but we do live in a bigger house, and the downstairs is where all the bedrooms, living room, and kitchen are. This includes my dad's office, where he had computers for work and stuff. Minutes passed that felt like hours, and I could hear them getting closer to me. A couple of them were at the end of the hallway, and I heard footsteps. Mere feet from the closet. I actually looked back on my life thinking that I was going to die. 2 dark shadows appeared at the bottom of the closet door. Tears now began pouring down my face, knowing that I might actually get shot or kidnapped. Even though I was a pretty big guy, standing at 6'2", 250 pounds, I was definitely outnumbered. I heard the doorknob turn to open until the lock caught it. My blood ran cold and I got sick to my stomach when he said, "Shit, it's locked." I guess they went to the bathroom across the closet and noticed my clothes. This must have terrified them because the footsteps grew quieter. It was then that I heard police sirens. Multiple sirens blaring. Never before has a sound brought such relief. That is, until I heard a voice at the door say my name. I opened it and a man in a police vest looked at me and said, "You alright, son?" Outside, cops and cop cars littered the street. My mom was right where I told her to stay. Hysterical, she ran up and wrapped her arms around me and held me for a lifetime. There were a total of 6 men, all middle-aged and all had criminal records. I didn't go to school for the rest of the week. I suffered from nightmares and anxiety attacks when I heard a crack or a knock in the house. I became depressed, and by the beginning of December I was diagnosed with PTSD. My depression eventually began to diminish when I started working out. I joined the football team again and my life was finally getting back to normal. Today I'm happy, have a nice job, I married my high school sweetheart, and we just had our 2nd child. If there's anything I could tell you from this experience, it's that you should always cherish every moment of every day because you never know when it could be your last. Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed the video. This video was very special to me because one of my biggest inspirations, Cry, was able to get on this video with me. To make a long story short, my channel would not exist if it wasn't for his videos. And I'm not even exaggerating when I say that. So if you liked his narration in this video, please be sure to check his channel out. His channel is mainly focused around gaming stuff, but he does have a playlist called Cry Reads where, well, he reads, just like in this video. So if gaming stuff isn't your thing, I will be linking his Cry Reads playlist in the description, but his channel will be there as well. And it should be on screen right now too. The guy is extremely cool, very talented, and it's extremely odd to have talked to him after years of watching his videos. So thanks to you guys for making that happen. Please head over to his channel and just comment that you appreciate him working with me, or just listen to his stuff and let him know that you enjoy it if you do. I feel like when people voice their opinion on liking when collaborations like this happen, it makes it so things like this can happen more often, and them doing this doesn't go unappreciated. So please go and do that for me if you can. Thank you to everyone who submitted their story for this video. I had some leftover good ones that I will be probably using for future videos. If you have any personal stories you'd like to send in to possibly get read on my channel, please email it to corpsehusbandstories@gmail.com. And if anyone is curious about my health, things are getting better, I think. All my tests that I've taken so far have come back okay. I don't have a blood clot in my leg, which is good, but I still have to do some x-rays on my spine. Please follow me on social media to keep up to date with what's going on with that and just other stuff in general. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Links to Corpse Husband shirts and everything else in the description. I'm still following anybody who buys a shirt and sends me a picture of them in it on social media. Stay safe and have an awesome day.